Hey there, welcome to The Hot Slice, the weekly podcast brought to you by Pizza Today magazine. I'm your host, Jeremy White, editor-in-chief of Pizza Today, joined by executive editor, Denise Greer. Hey, Denise.
Hello, Jeremy. How are you doing this wonderful week after Thanksgiving? I didn't eat so much that I can't talk to you right now, so that's good.
Have you had pizza since Thanksgiving?
Yes, absolutely. I've had pizza twice since Thanksgiving.
Did you have the night before Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving Eve?
Actually, I did not, but that was only because I was with family. So
Yeah.
but
One of the most popular pizza nights of the year. I did have pizza on Thanksgiving Eve. And like you, I have had pizza since Thanksgiving as well. I did the turkey for about 3 days, ham, turkey, mashed potatoes, green beans, all the, pumpkin pie. I did that for about 3 days, and I'm like, okay, enough.
I
Time to
need to
reset my
stop.
system. Time to get high quality fuel in this well-oiled machine, and went straight to pizza and instantly felt better.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's not what we're here to talk about today, because we
No,
have a huge special podcast today. I mean, I'm talking special. This is like a once a year thing that we do. And I'm going to let you announce it because I think it's cool and it's awesome. And you were the one that went there.
rock on. I was excited. I went to Razza in Jersey City, New Jersey, an outstanding pizzeria run by a super passionate, super self-educated pizza maker by the name of Dan Richer. Place so outstanding that we named it our Pizzeria of the Year. So when Pizza Today readers get their magazine here in their December issue here in just a few days, any day now, depending on where you are located in the United States, you will see Dan on the cover. You will see a very detailed feature inside the magazine with regards to our Pizzeria of the Year. Some beautiful photography and layout by Josh Cowan, who made the trip with me. The interview with Dan was so much fun, so insightful. The article wrote itself. It was so
Yeah.
easy because Dan is such an articulate guy. I can't say enough good things about Razza. But like I said, we were so enamored with Razza and Dan that it is our Pizzeria of the Year.
Nice. Well, I got to tell you, because I, of course, have read the story because I edited the story. I think that it's a beautiful story, and Dan has such a wonderful story to tell. I mean, he has such a
He
unique
does.
story
He
as
does.
a pizzeria owner. So I'll be excited for people to read it and to listen to this podcast, because guess who we're talking to? Dan Richer.
Dan Richer.
Yeah. So I want to know real quick before we get Dan on,
Yeah.
what was your first impression of meeting Dan when you went to New Jersey?
Just what a down-to-earth, humble, remarkable human being he is. He's compassionate. He cares about his employees. He cares about his customers. He cares about his vendors. And he cares immensely about the quality of the product he serves to his customers. And he leaves no stone unturned in his quest for putting out the best product possible, and not just pizza, whether that's a sandwich, whether that is pasta, whether it's butter. We didn't write about butter in the article, right? We're a pizza magazine. If we were butter today, we could have talked about butter, but Dan makes his own butter at Razza. And, Josh, as we left to head back to our hotel that day, Josh looked at me and he goes, "I'll never look at butter the same way again." I mean, this stuff happened. And it just goes, look, if you're operating in pizzeria and you care that much about the butter that you serve with your freshly baked bread, that you're making your own butter with care, and it is to that level, because believe me, it was phenomenal. That tells you all you need to know about Dan and how seriously he's taking everything else he's doing in his restaurant.
Absolutely. Well, I just know you guys made me drool when I saw the photos because you kept sending them to me from the trip. And that was pretty evil, by the way, because I couldn't have any. But now it's going to make me and probably anybody that listens to this podcast want to go visit Dan and try his amazing products.
Absolutely. And Dan will be speaking at International Pizza Expo this coming March in Las Vegas. He'll be doing a demonstration as well as at least one seminar. And he's super knowledgeable, great guy, a lot of fun to listen to, because if you're like me, if you're a sponge, if you're a naturally curious person who wants to continually acquire new knowledge, no better person than Dan to sit down with for an hour and just listen to.
Oh, yeah, and we'll get him geeking out on this podcast right now. So let's talk. Let's just hop right into talking to Dan.
Let's do it.
Your pizza is more than a craft, it's your legacy. Make it extraordinary with Bacio Exceptional Italian Pizza Cheese. Created by expert cheesemakers for a superior melt, endless stretch, and its signature kiss of buffalo milk, a taste that is rich and creamy beyond compare. Build your legacy with monthly cash rewards and marketing support through the Bacio Gold Club. Schedule a demonstration at baciocheese.com/hotslice. Pizza is your legacy. Build it with Bacio.
Performance Food Service is proud to deliver high-quality products, innovative technology, and custom operational solutions to restaurants of all sizes across the country. The flagship division of Performance Food Group, with deep roots in the restaurant industry, Performance Food Service has been the exclusive distributor of the Roma family of brands for more than 65 years. This signature relationship has allowed Performance Food Service to become a leader in the pizza and Italian segment of food service nationwide.
Dan, first off, congratulations, my friend. The cat is out of the bag. We have named Razza the Pizzeria of the Year. That's a pretty cool thing, right?
It's amazing. Yeah, I've been reading the magazine for decades now.
By the way,
Decades. It's out. Have you seen it yet?
No.
That's because we don't get it first, but you'll have it within 1 to 3 business days.
Thank you so much for making that happen.
Denise, hold that up so Dan can see the cover.
All right, here you go, Dan.
It's a good shot, man.
Yeah, it's a great shot. And the feature's just as pretty. Josh did such a dynamite job with taking the photos. If anybody doesn't know, that's Josh Cowan on our team took the photos, and it's really spectacular. Like, if you've never seen the pizzas there, like, this is just amazing. So I won't sneak it and tell you anything else though.
Now, the article was easy to write. Dan is so articulate and so knowledgeable that really I literally just had to type up his quotes and transcribe them. And I was like, crap, the article's already done because Dan said it all. It was super easy.
It's a great article, Jeremy. And your story, Dan, is amazing. I hope we get into it a little bit with this podcast. But can you talk to us a little bit about the restaurant, and because your start is so unique with this one, and a lot of people maybe have felt what you felt at the beginning of building your concept.
Yeah. So are we talking about the beginning of my story, my first restaurant, or
let's talk about the transition of going from, you had a restaurant, but then decided that wasn't the avenue you were going to take and pursue this restaurant instead. Talk to us a little bit.
So I started my first restaurant in 2006. I bought a failing restaurant that had 2 wood-fired ovens, and I turned it around over the course of 10 years. About 5 years in, I started Razza, where I'm currently located, and that was a very slow start. We were not able to survive, really. It's amazing that we actually made it through. The first 4 years, we were really struggling. Couldn't get people in the door besides for Friday, Saturday. And it wasn't until I decided to sell the first restaurant to focus on Jersey City. 6 months later, we had a line out the door. And it's because I wasn't present as much as I wish I could have been in both locations. So, once I let go of the successful restaurant and focused on the the struggling one, which I always love a good struggle. I think we grow more through struggle than through success. And a successful restaurant is amazing, but I am always looking to grow and to change and to get better at it. And when every day you got to line out the door, it was difficult for me to change things and to really grow the business in a not just a financial way, because financial growth is great, and it is the reward, but it's not the thing that excites me. Connection is what really excites me. Talking to people and being present in their lives and letting them into my life, whether it's my team or guests or even vendors. I love being part of people's lives. And when I was splitting my time between the two restaurants, I didn't have those deep connections that I crave.
One of the things you told me while I was there interviewing you, and it made the article, and I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember your exact wording, but basically you said when you made that decision to close the first restaurant, which at that time was highly successful, and Razza was struggling, as you said, didn't know if you were going to make it. And you made that bold decision to walk away from the very successful restaurant and focus on the failing restaurant, that a weight was lifted off your shoulders because you felt like you were now part of the team. You were there with your staff, interacting with them daily, mentoring, guiding, assisting, working side by side with your crew. And you said you actually, for the first time, actually felt that you were part of that team. And that's when everything blossomed. And I found that very insightful and very interesting, because you can't be two places at once, right?
Yeah, exactly. And in this business, the food is so secondary to the people. I feel like the food is maybe 5% of what we do. Most of it is team building and nurturing the culture of the team. And it's the most rewarding part for me also, watching everyone else around me thrive and grow and change and learn new things. So I focus a lot of my mental power on that.
Yeah. So a quick 5-minute history, point A to point B. Once you began to focus on Razza, how did it go from, I don't know if the doors are going to stay open here in Jersey City, to what it is?
So I just put my head down, focused on individual relationships with everybody on my team. I focus more on the food and honestly on the minute details, the lighting in the bathroom, everything, all the minute details, which I love so much. But it was just really getting people to believe in the success of the restaurant, both staff and guests. And then, 6 months later, we had a New York Times review, and that just blew the doors right open. And every day since then, we've had a fairly easy time getting people in the door.
Denise, when the New York Times says that you may have the best pizza in the area, and you're not in New York, Jersey, that ruffles a few feathers, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what kinds of things did you hear from across the river? What would you hear across the way?
Oh, so it was 99% was positive.
Excellent.
Sure.
Yeah. And then there's the 1% that already made it up in their minds that they weren't going to like it, but they just came anyway to check it out.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That I get it. It's a really bold statement, but what that article did is it kind of broke the barrier of location. And I'm a firm believer that location doesn't dictate whether your product is good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Chris Bianco in Phoenix, Arizona. Is it about the water? No, it's not about the water. Is it about his physical location being in a different place? Does it have to be in New York? No. Location doesn't dictate whether your product is good or bad. It's ingredients and technique.
Yeah.
And that article kind of broke that barrier for the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you've certainly become kind of this, people are looking at Dan Richer as like this person that really knows what it takes to make a good pizza. With your product, how are you able to consistently have that stature of this quality pizza every single time with your team?
Okay, so the best thing that I did for our product and for our team is to create a document. It's like a 5 or 6 page document that details what our pizza is. It's a product guideline. It's a spec sheet. It's a set of blueprints, because I felt like I could never hold my team accountable for something that I didn't clearly define and train them with. So I created this like 56-point evaluation system for our pizza with very detailed characteristics that we're trying to create with every pizza. And that's what I used to train my staff. I used it on a daily basis to hold them accountable for sending out pizzas that are up to our standard. Like, we can't hold them to our standards if we don't clearly define what our standards are. And because we have this evaluation system and this set of blueprints, now we're able to actually change our product. As long as the product falls within the guidelines, then we can change our flour, we can change our fermentation time and temperature, we can change things, which allows my team to learn and grow. Because when we're just successful on a daily basis with a specific pizza recipe, nobody's learning anything. Nobody's learning how to be a better baker, a better pizza maker. It's when we change things that it gives us the opportunity to grow and to learn.
Now,
I love that.
Oh, go ahead, Jerry.
No, I was just going to say, Denise, I love that Dan is always experimenting, tinkering, trying to evolve, trying to improve. Dan is undergoing a renovation right now. He's expanding into the space directly adjacent to Razza. It's going to have a large dining room, but in that new space, there is a dough room, a dedicated dough room.
That's
that is
awesome.
climate controlled, fresh water coming in at a specific temperature. Talk about this investment.
Yeah, I'm curious. So I'm very curious about the dough.
We invested a little bit in technology, and as most operators know, fermentation is a function of time and temperature. And we try to control as many variables as possible. And the one variable that we change on a daily basis is the temperature of our water for dough making, to meet the conditions of the day, right? If the temperature is a little bit higher, or if the flour is warm or cold, we change the water temperature to control all of the other variables, so that our dough starts fermenting at the same time and temperature every day. So right now what we do is we have 2 buckets of water, one's ice water, one's warm water, and we're just constantly stirring them together with a little thermometer to get the right water temperature for that batch of dough. Well, we invested in some bakery technology that a lot of bread bakers use, which is a water chiller and a water meter. And the water meter is just a box on the wall that mixes warm room temperature and ice cold water. And you can set the temperature and the quantity of water, and it doses it out the water right into the mixing bowl. It's not that expensive of technology, but you don't really see it in that many pizzerias. But it's going to give us a easier, more efficient way to get our dough to the right spot every day.
Now, who's allowed in that room? Who
Anybody.
Your crew, are your crew fully cross-trained to be able to, to get in there and make the pizza? That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I was in that room, which means absolutely anyone could be in that room.
Yeah, my goal is to turn it into a tiny little like 2 or 3 person private dining room at night.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
You
That's
can sit in the
awesome.
dough room and have the
Yeah.
whole experience in a little bit more of a private way and fun. But yeah, anybody who wants to learn dough making on my team, it's a communal effort, and there's, especially around the big wooden table that we roll our dough balls on, that's a center for conversation. And it's those conversations about dough, about today's dough, about yesterday's dough, about where we're going, where we've been. And it's just a really good time to connect with our team. So we always bring as many people around that table as we can fit.
That's awesome. How big is your crew anyways? How many people do you have employed there?
Right now we have about 20.
20? Okay.
Yeah. And once next door gets open, we'll probably push to around 50.
Gotcha. And you're talking about your culture. I'm very curious about your culture because, it's such a unique environment, it sounds like, and I'd just love to learn more about what makes your culture so successful with your crew.
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, I set out to really focus on it. And the absolute first thing I did was write a set of core values for us. And growth is one of them. It's like 5 different characteristics that's what guides my hiring process. Also, we always hire for culture first, and technical skills can be learned, but a cultural fit is the most important thing. So we spend a lot of time hiring the right people, because it just makes everything flow a lot easier. I can teach you how to make dough, make pizza. I can teach you the technical skills. I can't teach you to be an empathetic, caring individual. So we really hire based on those core values. And anytime we can, we're building on those. And but really, it's a culture of empathy and care for each other first and foremost.
I love it. Denise, Dan has a new book out, and we're definitely 100% going to get to that. Dan, yes, definitely promote that book.
Wait a minute, I can't see it. There you
It's
go.
blurry.
It's blurry.
But before we get to that, I have a
There it
quick
is.
question. Fermentation. You are very passionate about fermentation and the process. You have really invested a lot of time in researching the science behind it, the biology, how it works, what it does for the finished product. Where did your interest in fermentation come from? Why did you nerd out on this so much? And what has it done for your product?
Okay, pizza is a flatbread with condiments baked onto it. Mm-hmm. That's my catch-all definition. So bread is a fermented product. I started studying fermentation because pizza is a flatbread. And if we don't understand fermentation, we're never going to make fantastic pizza. So it was all in pursuit of making a better pizza, because this business is such a meritocracy, and the better our product is, the happier we make our guests, and the more that often they come back. It's very, very simple. Make a good product, people come back. So the more we invest in ourselves and study and learning and really trying to understand what it is that we're doing, the happier you make your guests. It's just, it's very simple. So I started studying fermentation of all types, because once you start fermenting one thing like pizza dough, it always leads you into other avenues, like making your own beer and making cheese and fermenting cream to make sour cream or creme fraiche, making pickles, fermenting chilies to make your own chili sauce. It's kind of, once you understand how to harness that very natural process of fermentation, a whole world of food opens up, and you kind of get to control nature a little bit, or you get to at least be a part of it.
What is
and
the key?
it's just very engaging.
Yeah, what is the key to harnessing fermentation? What do you mean by that?
So understanding your raw material, say wheat flour, right? That's what you're fermenting, and then understanding how to control it through the quantity of inoculation of that yeast or bacteria or both. So commercial yeast is the agent of fermentation, and using the right quantity of it, but also managing its life cycle through time and temperature, that will lead to a mediocre product or a really fantastic one. The better we can control those elements of inoculation quantity and then time and temperature, it can lead to really fantastic, delicious pizza that has flavors and a texture that you cannot get otherwise.
That's the art, right? Or is that the joy of pizza for you?
So for me, the joy of pizza is the journey and the connectivity. It's the journey of learning, trying new things, but also meeting people along the way, whether it's a guy with a herd of cows that milks them and make cheese, and learning about him, his family, his cows, what the cows are eating, what the cows are eating in April versus November, learning about him, the cheesemaker, fermenting his product, getting the milk and then inoculating it with beneficial bacteria to increase the acidity to help the stretch of the mozzarella. Like what they're doing and what we're doing is so similar that we bond over these things, and we get to use his fantastic cheese on our pizza that changes throughout the year based on what the cows are eating. It's just all so special, and to learn and to meet and connect over pizza. Pizza is this platform for so many different people, whether it's a tomato grower, a tomato canner, or a basil breeder. It's this platform for connectivity that I'm so lucky that I found pizza, that I use it to connect with so many different people and learn so many different things.
Denise, the passion, that's what I love. That's what attracts me, and that's what I just adore, is the passion.
Yeah, absolutely. You've definitely hit the mark. Something I'm curious about before, because I want to talk about your book, but one thing I want to know just personally, who do you look up to in pizza? Like, who are your idols? Who are your mentors? Like, who do you look up to?
I mean, a lot of people, but I didn't learn from anybody. I jumped into this business right after college. I made my first pizza maybe 6 months after I graduated college. Yeah. And I haven't stopped. I never worked for anyone. Yeah. But obviously there's a ton of pizza makers that came before me, and they've added to the dialogue. I'm just thankful that I get to start to continue that conversation about pizza. But people like Chris Bianco, Anthony Mangieri from Una Pizza Napolitana, his pizza was, I didn't want to do anything like him, but when I bit into his pizza for the first time and smelled the flavors and tasted the flavors of fermentation, that's what really drew me to, it made me start to study bread making, because I'd never tasted flavors in pizza dough like his. So that's what really drew me to bread baking. Now he makes Neapolitan style pizza. We don't do that at all. And his product is fantastic. So I love him. And then there's tons of people all throughout the country.
And now that's you. I mean, you are somebody's mentor, somebody's idol, somebody's listening to this podcast right now saying, oh my goodness, if I could only, learn what Dan learned. So, and you have a way to help them do that.
Yeah. And that was one of the main reasons why I wrote the book, is because I don't want people to go through what I went through over the past, 18, 19 years making pizza by trial and error. I learned so much over that time that nobody should ever have to go through that ever again. Just get the book, and it'll teach you pretty much everything you need to know for a good foundation in pizza making. And now it's your turn. Run with it. Inspire me, inspire everybody else. Learn as much as you can, but don't start where I started.
Mm-hmm.
Start here and let's see what happens.
Absolutely.
Your book, The Joy of Pizza, was released this month, just a handful of weeks ago. What has that been like for you as someone who's operating a pizzeria on the daily to now all of a sudden be a published author who's doing interviews with the press about a book release?
Yeah, it's the book is my personal journey in pizza and all the things that I've learned. So for me, it's pretty easy to talk about because I put the time in, I did the work, and the book writing process was 2 years. The first year was writing it. The second year was editing and photos and all that good stuff. And so I'm thankful that it's done, it's out in the world and people are using it, and it is inspiring people to get better at their pizza journey. And I'm so grateful that it's been received so well. It was named a New York Times bestseller last week, which is beyond my wildest dreams. Pizza is like kind of a single subject and we all love it, but I never thought that it would be so well received. But honestly, the lessons in the book aren't just applicable to pizza. We put in our evaluation system and that whole blueprint mentality about product creation, and you can apply that to anything you're making, whether it's a pasta dish or a bowl of soup, a grilled cheese, or even not pizza. I liken pizza making to other skilled trades like cabinet making and steel welding, where you have one raw material, and the more you understand it and the more you practice it, the better you get at it. So that evaluation system, the set of blueprints, can be applicable to anything you choose to do. Just decide what you want to do, what you want to make, and then really pick it apart. And then you can put it back together with a set of blueprints. Like, you can't build a house without a set of blueprints. Then you'll be hammering boards and nails together. You have to identify what it is you're trying to make, and then it's that much easier to create it.
Amen. Denise, you and others will be able to meet Dan in person at International Pizza Expo 2022 in Las Vegas. Dan will be doing some presentations there, sharing some of his knowledge. Super excited to get him out to Las Vegas. Do you have any closing questions for Dan before we get out of his hair and let him get back to his busy day?
Oh, I could sit here and we could talk all day because I like to talk to you. So, but the one question I will ask you is, what's next for the restaurant? Where do you hope to go with the restaurant, and what are you looking forward to?
Oh man, it's a good question. So we are doubling the size of the restaurant. So in the next, 12 months to 5 years, that's going to be my primary focus, is not just getting that up and running, but really building more of our team and continuous building of the culture. I just like being here. So I have no interest in having 5 or 10 restaurants in the United States. I'd like to go international. That'd be great. Have a restaurant in Dubai and Hong Kong, but that's a pipe dream right now. For now, I'm just really happy being here in this one space with my team and with our guests.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, let me be one of the first to say congratulations on all your success, and congrats on the Pizzeria of the Year award. So we're excited to share your story, and it will be available on pizzatoday.com. So it's going to be there tomorrow morning.
It's a dream for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well deserved, Dan. Congrats, my friends, and thank you for your time today, as always.
You guys are the best. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Thank
Well, thank
you.
you so much.
Have a good day.
All right.
All
Thank you.
right.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.